Well, okay then. I think this is working. I don't know. I'm going to unmute on my end. You guys won't hear the loop, thankfully, but uh, still have to figure out. Oh, there we go. Apparently apparently it had paused a little bit, and I had to skip ahead to live. Um, does appear there's quite a bit of delay, especially for me there. But at least I could hear myself. That's good. Because like I'm looking at the dashboard still, and honestly, like I mean, this is confusing in a way. Like I honestly am not 100% sure on uh I guess this stuff cuz you can't move around the one stuff as well as like it seems like each individual stream is going to be its own thing, I guess. This is weird. It's like you don't just have like a dashboard for your stream. Like you have to actually create a stream each time, which is interesting. Cuz it basically means that like I can't bring up the dashboard itself on my tablet anymore to have like an extra thing. There's also no mod view or anything, so there's that. Um, I'm trying to figure out some stuff. Like trying to figure out if there's a friend that I could ask if they could drop in and help out. Cause like I typed a test message in the chat on the dashboard, which took a while to show up on OBS, which is weird to me. Like it's just that level of desync between the chat messages showing up was just odd. Cause yeah, that like if the dashboard is faster than the OBS one, then I'm not gonna care about the OBS one. Like I'm not gonna care about leaving it up. It's nice to have, but I don't think it's worth it if it itself is what's so slow. It could just be that there's like chat delays and whatnot. Do love how it shows a timeline for what looks like it's supposed to be the last 5 minutes here, and that's it. Which is sort of odd that it's the last 5 minutes, but I suppose that is fine. Because it also is doing it in 30-second increments, which is weird as well. Okay. Yeah, I like just trying to learn the dashboard itself is a task. Oh, okay, so apparently I can go back out on that one. Interesting. It's not something I think that I would consider a useful feature, but I guess that's something like that's something to keep in mind. Don't accidentally push that button, kind of thing. Um, boy, this is definitely like this is definitely like one of those things where I very much question exactly what they were thinking with this. Because I figured out like essentially like how I would be getting it up on like through that. I know how I'm getting it up on my one thing now, like on my tablet. Because like I really just want to be able to move the chat over to the other side. Like the chat being on the side that it's on is just actually really bad for my own purposes, I guess. Um, I don't know. Like it's just it's opposite the way that I have my computer set up, I guess. Like if I had my primary display and my secondary display swapped and I, sat differently, then it would be okay. But where it's at on the dashboard is actually just not good for me specifically, which is a bit weird to say, but very very true. Cuz like I don't see like how to edit the dashboard. Like, oh, there's a share button. Is that just, yeah, that just takes me to the direct link for the stream, which is good. That actually is helpful, so that way I can copy paste that into Discord if I am going live on YouTube like this. Cause yeah, I'm looking at OBS too. And OBS has like this auto stop thing, so I think I can hit like the end stream button here on the browser, and the OBS will know to stop, which is kind of nice. And it is just picking up from OBS, but it's so weird that I have to create a broadcast every time in order to go live. Like I'm actually curious as to how do I, like, if I schedule a broadcast kind of thing, how do I broadcast specifically to that one? Because I don't know. Because like I've noticed when you schedule a broadcast, um, like the broadcast is there. You can click on the link, and or viewers can click on the link and go to it. But then I don't know how to put that into OBS. It does appear that like they have something baked in for like streaming from your web browser. Not that I think that that's a great idea, just because I don't think your web browser is actually made for streaming, you know? So that's a bit of a thing, I guess. I don't know. Um, let's actually bring up the stream itself on my end. I want to actually see if like so I have the stream up on my computer, and I'm legitimately just wanting to see if my views and concurrent viewers goes up, which it doesn't look like it. Which is actually like so technically that is improvement over Twitch, because Twitch has the oddity, I guess, of for whatever reason they count yourself as a viewer. So like if you ever see a stream that has only one viewer, it's like they actually have zero because you looking at your dashboard counts as one viewer, and it's weird. So that's actually good to know. Like there is no spoofing the numbers by just having your own stuff open. So there is no faking and whatnot, which is good. Like that is a good thing. People haven't done that on Twitch in a while, but I have heard of instances in the past where people had done that. Oh, the timer is now okay, so it's still just showing from the start to current. It's not a 5 minutes. It's literally the entire duration. Okay. Daz, I suppose good to know. Yeah, I have noticed the average view duration. Like that is just counting up, even though there is no viewers, which that part is a little bit odd to me. Because there it is counting yourself basically. So you kind of are your own outlier. I gotta wait for a friend to drop in if he's able to before before I am able to know on all of that. Trying to see if there's any other friends that I might be able to ask to help me out, but I think most of them are kind of busy. Uh, because I just want to see on the chat delay and everything. And then also, I want to see if the average view duration actually reflects actual view duration when somebody else comes in. Because, like, right now, it should technically be, like, dividing by zero, so to speak. Or, well, yeah, divided by zero. Because it's how long for each person watching added together and then divided by that number, and I have zero views, so yeah, it shouldn't be counting anything, yet it is. Um, what? Oh, that is wanting me to sign in on stuff. It's not letting me back out of that. So I guess we're just closing out of that. That's depressing. Let's see. Tools. Where's? There we go. Reopened the chat. Okay, so I can pin a message that way. Which is good. Pinning messages is nice. Like, it means if you post an announcement or something like that, you know, you don't have to keep reposting it over and over again. Hey, Mr. Man. Wow, the desync in the chats. So like your message has shown up in the your message has shown up in the uh what is it? What am I trying to say here? Brain is just not working for me. It showed up in OBS, but then didn't show up in the studio thing. Now it showed up in the studio as you said hello. It didn't show up before. It was just like, wow, this thing is oof. The reliability of the chat is oh, not great. Okay, good to know. So the moment you came in and it finally registered that you were here, my average view duration has actually gone down to the appropriate number. It's not averaging me watching my own stream anymore. Which, like, again, is good for the sake of, like, I always found it weird that Twitch's, like, metrics or whatever count yourself as one of your own viewers. So yeah, like I'm glad that, like, as long as someone comes in, it does appear that it will actually update to the correct things and not be tracking me anymore. It's going okay. There's some problems that I have with it that, like, I'm definitely glad I'm doing this and I'm actually looking at stuff live. But yeah. Oh geez, there's another one where the message is not showing up in one location. Welcome, TCJB. Oh, now it showed up in the other one. Not a lot. I am mostly just trying to figure out this stuff, which thankfully, with Mr. Man coming in, I was able to figure out a little bit more with it. There is definitely some, like, chat sync problems, for sure. Like, sometimes chat messages will show up in one place but not another for a bit. So, okay. I figured, but I was gonna wait till you actually said to confirm, because didn't want to assume. um, but yeah, I mostly like you and Mr. Man have both helped me figure out this. So the reason why for moving to YouTube potentially, this is still a potential. The basic idea is that Twitch has been doing some stuff that is making it look like they are going to potentially like kill the platform. It's not good. Like, quite literally, the things that they are doing are making it appear that they're going to push content creators and sponsors away from Twitch. Like, if they actually do the one changes that they eventually rolled back, like that they after just a couple days they rolled it back, except for the fact that they still have, or at least at the time that all of the one things was, um basically it would be incredibly difficult to actually make money on Twitch. Like, it already was. I actually found out as well last night, while I was doing a bunch of different things, like when I was first looking into YouTube. And this is actually why I didn't stream last night. I didn't want to just say it in the Discord because I just didn't want to. I didn't want to type it out there. I wanted to actually. Yeah, it was still in the terms of service. So like the terms of service applies to everyone, by the way, not just partnered streamers and not just affiliates. Like, that is everyone. So essentially, I went and I looked at my Twitch revenue, and apparently, some of the Prime subs that I have been getting over the last 8 months didn't do anything for me. Like, no joke. I got nothing from them. It says that they're supposed to roll over, that I'm actually supposed to get the money in the following month, so to speak, like credited to my account. But I went through and I did the math for like what should my account actually be at, like if it was reflecting like all of the money, and then I was also going to factor off like this current month, because the one things I'm looking at are for previous months and everything. And quite literally, I should have had about $35, um whereas I had 20. They're denying Prime subs. Like, they're literally, like, so literally the way that it says it is that it's quote unquote under review, and then suddenly you're just not getting the money. Like, they review it and they say nope, it's not legitimate. There's still like, the person who does the Prime sub still gets the benefits of the Prime sub, but you don't get that money anymore, because they decided that, like, for whatever reason, it's not valid. Yeah, like, I don't know what to do about that, because like I had a friend who has been giving me, or I mean, I still have this friend. They continue to give me their Prime sub every single month. And yet I might not even be getting their Prime sub. Like, I might not be getting the money from it at all. And that's painful. Like, that is insanely painful, that person has been doing such a great job of trying to get me the Prime sub literally every month on the day it renews and everything else like that, and yet apparently they, like, Twitch can just review it and say that it's not a real sub, and then I don't get paid for it. I don't. After that, I legitimately was just like, okay, I need to look at YouTube. I have to, because like Twitch doesn't care about me at that point. Like Twitch doesn't care about actually paying their content creators. I get paid for my advertisements, sure, but that's usually about like, so if I do a 4 hour stream, I think on average I get about 20 cents from advertisements, and most of that is from people who come into the stream, see the, or because they see the avatar, come into the stream and then leave after the pre-roll ads because you know they hear a guy's voice. Like the pre-roll ads are the only reason I'm making money, because I don't run ads on my Twitch channel unless I am actively taking a break. I have a button on my Stream Deck specifically for running an ad, or running an ad break on Twitch, that I rarely ever use because I rarely ever take breaks. I should take breaks more often in terms of just get up, stretch, so on and so forth. Um, but like in general though, I don't do ad breaks. Like I don't have the automatic ad breaks to run. And that's because like I know for my experience as a viewer, I hate that. I asked a streamer a question one time and then immediately they read out my question, started to answer, and immediately I got an ad. So their entire answer was an ad. So then the moment I was back in stream, I just typed and back because advertisement. And they just said, "Ah, that sucks." And then they didn't answer the question again. So what my question that I asked, I never got the answer for. I hate that. I mean, I hate advertisements in general. I wish we honestly didn't have to rely on them. But I understand why we rely on them. Like, it's not the absolute worst system ever. Especially because, you know, with certain things that we shall not name, you can ignore advertisements and whatnot. They are technically optional in that regard. Yeah, that is actually really good, Mr. Man, when they re-say it at the least. Um, but yeah, like that's why I don't have the automatic advertisements set up or anything. I looked into it for a bit, and I just was like, no. Especially because like I'm not being compensated extra for running the advertisements. Like nothing beneficial is happening for me, for Twitch automatically running ads on my stream. So like when they had the ad incentive program that they added in, I legitimately just did the whole thing of, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if they'll roll it out for affiliates anytime soon. And it looks like they don't plan on rolling that out for affiliates ever. Like, at all. On top of that, it really only supported like the massive streamers because like it wasn't a set thing. It was like a thing that was quote unquote catered to you. And yeah, like it was basically like, oh, we know you have the biggest outreach, so even though you're already making hundreds of thousands of dollars, we're going to add in a little bit more money for you or whatever. And that was honestly like pretty shit, you know. Um, like I thought that was going to be like absolutely horrible when they rolled it out for affiliate. Like every month was going to just be a slap in the face where they're like, if you run, you know, like 3 minutes of ads per hour on your stream, you'll get 20 cents. And I was just like, you're literally like telling me to screw everyone over for 20 cents or something, like just because seeing some other big streamers getting offers of like less than $100, I can only imagine what they would offer to affiliates. Yeah, Twitch doesn't care about their content creators anymore, which is it's Amazon is really what we should say. Amazon no longer cares about their content creators. Back in the day when Twitch was Twitch and they owned themselves, they actually did implement some really good things, but like one of the last good decisions that was made was the affiliate program. Like rather than needing to be partner to make money off of Twitch, now you could be affiliate. But in reality, it should just be that anyone can come onto the platform and be able to do stuff. Like that's actually one of the things like YouTube, yeah, they actually went to the way that Twitch did. Where you basically have to have a set follower base, a set viewer base already before you can start making money off of YouTube. I used to make money off of YouTube. 8 cents a month. It wasn't a lot. But I had joined a MCN, multi-channel network, that eventually just disappeared. I don't know what the fuck happened to them. They didn't even say anything to me. They just disappeared. But I also only made, like I said, 8 cents a month. But because I was in the multi-channel network, I actually got paid out that 8 cents a month every month. And then eventually, YouTube rolled out the new thing where, in order to make money off of YouTube, you actually need 1,000 subscribers. So, like, this is a thing that anyone can look up. You need 1,000 subscribers on your channel, as well as let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Nope, here's the earn one. So then it's you need 1,000 subscribers and one of the following. 4,000 public watch hours or 10 million public shorts views. So the watch hours is literally on your YouTube videos and stuff like that. But that is hours. So like that is literally you need a lot of content posted that people are watching on a regular basis in order to be able to actually capitalize on that. Or you need a crap ton of shorts that people are watching, um, which is also very hard because like both of those, like 10 million views on shorts is not easy. Like if you have 1,000 shorts that you have posted, each one still needs 10,000 views minimum. So like if you have only 1,000 followers that are watching your content every time you post stuff, then you need at minimum 4 hours worth of content posted. And this is assuming that all of them are watching everything. Or if all of your 1,000 subscribers watched every single one of your shorts once, you need 10,000 shorts. Yeah, you do gotta get hella lucky. Like you gotta hope that the people scrolling find your shorts. Um like that is a legitimate thing. And I don't know how to make a short. Um I'm assuming there's an app that I could download on my phone and I could make some shorts. But I'm also just sitting here thinking, like, I don't really want to. Like, I'm going to be honest. I don't care. um, hate to have to say it, but I liked some of the shorts, but also I'm not a fan of not being able to choose what's coming up next or whatever. Like I hate the scroll of, you know, this is all random. I can't pick what's coming up. I can try and curate a little bit, but I have to like do a bunch of shit. Very nice. But yeah, so like I am still 983 subscribers away from um actually being able to get the the monetization here. Um I mean, I do have a bunch of friends that I could potentially ask, like, hey, can you just subscribe to my YouTube channel? And like, you know, that'll help out a ton. But it won't get me to 1,000. Like, I don't have that many friends. Um, I'm definitely going to be asking as many people as I can, like, hey, can you just subscribe to my YouTube channel? That way, hopefully, I can get a little bit of, you know, extra stuff, or a little bit of extra support. Um, because yeah, like it will also come down to whether or not people watch my videos and everything else like that. Um, so it does look like. By the way, the shorts thing is in the last 90 days. The watch hours is in the last year. So 4,000 hours in the last year is not bad. Short views in the last 90 days. Oh God, why? That is ooh, that just makes it hard mode. You know, like boy, you really got to be working on stuff for that. But yeah, I will figure stuff out for sure. Um, yeah, I do agree with that. Like it does tend to be a little bit more friendly towards smaller creators cuz like some of my videos were still getting views even like years and years later. It's very very infrequently nowadays, mostly because like people aren't looking up those kinds of things anymore. But it is something that was a thing for a while. That's why I actually got like 8 cents a month for the longest time, was that people were randomly stumbling across my videos. Like I basically privatized all of my videos other than the Sleepy Lancer, because that series required like no editing whatsoever. It just required me to do everything as perfectly as possible to not fuck up, because that was a very real thing, that could happen, of just like trying to do that challenge. I could fuck up greatly. I did have one time where I did actually fuck up. um yeah, well, I am glad you did find me. It's been nice having you hang out. And then one second. Yay for using my streaming software so I can still mute when I need to cough. But yeah, like I don't know. It's one of those things where I very much I very much think like YouTube could be good. Um Especially like I wish I could have actually finished the Sleepy Lancer series. That would have been great. I would have loved to actually been able to finish going around and soloing all of the BAMs. But sadly, Terra nerfed all the BAMs. If you've never played Terra before, it used to be a very good game in my opinion. Nowadays, it's not. Um, like they made classes specifically ones that were not supposed to crit, and they just overloaded all of the gear with crit. So you have a very high chance of critting even on classes that don't want to crit because they already hit super hard. Yeah, there's only one R in it, by the way, because it's technically an acronym. Um, it was a good MMO. Like it was one of the like I think they call it like True Action Combat or whatever MMOs. It was uh like you actually well actually I guess combat was a lot like Black Desert, except it didn't play like a fighting game where you're like trying to hit certain combinations or whatever of keys in order to get stuff to work. Instead, it still worked like a normal MMO where your skills were on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so on and so forth. Like you could rebind those if you wanted to, but that was optional. So that part was nice for me because I personally prefer that. Wow, I am bouncing around a lot and I don't know why. At least in my preview I was. Is it was that from I guess maybe hand movements in front of the camera? I don't actually know. Um but yeah, like I enjoyed the game a lot. I played a sorcerer, which was one of the classes that did not want to crit. If you crit on the wrong spell, you were screwed. You did not like stay safe. You pulled aggro like right away. Berserkers were the other class that just like did not want to crit. Like they saw big numbers even without critting. And when the game went free to play, all of the free to play players were like, "Oh, this is so horrible. I never crit. I want to crit. I want crit on everything. I want to crit and crit and crit and crit and crit and crit and crit." And that was the problem. Because the developers listened to all the free to play players that were crying about wanting to be able to crit, and then they put crit like as a set stat that cannot be changed onto pieces of gear. So like you could originally in those places get other effects that were better. But yeah, was not good. Yeah, Hoyo games definitely like crits matter to them. Like you kind of want to crit in those games in order to get the biggest DPS numbers. Um I personally like don't like that much. I would rather be able to see consistent big numbers rather than, or I guess what I should say is, actually no, I guess I can't say that. I can say it like this: I'd rather see consistent big numbers than randomly stupidly big numbers. Like that's why when I have a crit rate of 100%, I'm happy with that because I hate that I hate that it when I have those times where I'm hitting like a wet noodle. You know, like those times to me are not fun. I would rather technically I would rather have 0% crit rate and instead just deal like 10,000 damage base than have a super high crit rate and be able to hit for 15 at random, but only have 7,000 base normally. Wow, apparently my webcam is freaking out a little bit. I'm going to move OBS over so I can actually see it and watch when my camera is freaking out. Actually, let's just bring up this so we can leave OBS over here. I'll just bring up VTube Studio. But apparently, I'm randomly having some issues, and I don't know. Yeah, like, even then, though, like, you have a 30% chance that you're not critting and everything, which is a lot more than I would prefer. My preference is for essentially like the idea of um just I know how much damage I'm going to do. That's just what I want. Is I want to know I am going to do this amount of damage no matter what. I am the person who builds crit in League of Legends and whatnot still. Like I don't if you're playing ADC in League, you should definitely be building crit. Like that's there's no two ways about it. But when I'm playing like an MMO or other games like that, if crits are a thing, I would rather it be very low percentage to do an insane amount of damage, um, instead of it being like a constant thing or whatever. Very nice. I actually went ahead and like detoured and started working on that as well because I was just like, fuck it. So I have all of hers almost maxed. I need to farm the big boss thingy one more time to actually get the last one maxed for current. But that said as well, I think I am like a few days away from actually getting to 60. So, you know, Seal is the current focus and will be the focus next cap as well. Mm, kind of. Think of it more as like a 5 200. Or maybe like a 5 250. I think 5 250 is more what I would actually like put it as like my preference for crits. Like when you crit, it's impactful, but it's not the main way that you factor damage. Um like I would rather just the base stats of the character be what carries them and everything else like that. Cuz like that's essentially like when you play D&D, when you play Dungeons and Dragons, it's a dice game and you can crit in there. You roll a d20, if you roll a 20 on the d20, then you score a critical hit. And what you do is you double the amount of damage you do. So nice. Um, yeah, the scaling is exponential. um, but yeah, like essentially, essentially, if it comes right down to it for critical stuff, just I would rather it be more infrequent than a constant thing, because like how do you do a DPS calculation where RNG is the primary factor? I played Dancer in Final Fantasy 14. I made the mistake, so to speak, of enjoying the flavor of a class that is so RNG heavy that oh god, why? There are so many coin flips with Dancer, and like I've legitimately had times where I lost like 30 coin flips in a row. Such is life. Like that is bound to happen. But if you are building a character around the idea of crit rate, how do you factor in your DPS when there's a 30% chance per attack that you hit like a wet noodle? I don't know. I genuinely do not know what to think about like stuff like that. I would rather have the base damage than have it increased. Um Honestly, like, so for Final Fantasy games, decide what you want out of it before you hop into a game. Like, do you want an MMO? Great, Final Fantasy 14. Do you want a RPG or whatever? Great, there's a ton of those. Try and figure out the kind of story you want and stuff like that, and then you'll be able to actually like get into all of that kind of stuff or whatever. But yeah, yeah. Like the mahjong thing that character does is interesting. Uh, it's not exactly the easiest one to RNG into, but it's doable. Just not the easiest. Yeah, like that would be the way to replicate it, but it's not worth it to do that. Like in MiHoYo games, that's not worth doing. Um, in Genshin, in Star Rail, building just a high crit damage and having a high base attack doesn't do fuck all for you. Like having a high base attack in MiHoYo games is nice, but also you still hit like a wet noodle. It's dumb. I legitimately have maxed out attack on my Gene. Like the only thing that I don't have maxed out on them is like I don't have their physical damage bonus and whatnot, and it's like, but like everything else is giving like the most attack possible because they scale off of attack for healing. So that's why I got them the stuff specifically for that. And quite literally, they just hit like a wet noodle. Because that like I haven't 100% min maxed for it. They're missing out on like 50% damage. Um, which just goes to show that like building attack is not worth it. It's just not. And I think that's the same problem that Star Rail is gonna have, like in the long run. Star Rail does seem to be a little bit more generous with their scaling numbers, but um, I think like I think it is actually I think it is actually like decent in Star Rail at least versus Genshin where it's like build at least a little bit of crit. Like you're gonna need some. Yeah, that's something that I don't like. I don't like attack having diminishing returns. You know, I don't know. That makes it to where you can't do stuff with like just raw attack and raw power, which to me, again, sucks. I'm that type of nerd though. Like that's the thing. I am the kind of nerd that I want to hit hard, and that's it. I don't want to RNG into hitting hard. I just want to hit hard. You know, if you use a sledgehammer, it's not about finesse and aiming for weak points and getting critical hits. Nah, if you got a sledgehammer, it's all about the fact that you just got a fucking sledgehammer. You know? That's all there is to it. Like, let's fucking bash some faces in. We got this shit. Oh, boy. Yeah. What time is it actually? I need to check that. 12:15. I do have to go eventually get ready for card games. I want to show up a bit early for the card games because potentially I want to have good parking. And I'm in a rental car, so I would like to just get there early and get good parking. Yeah, I could definitely see stuff like that. Um, like most abilities scale directly off of attack in both Genshin and in Star Rail, but I think like in Star Rail they scale better. Um, so like I'm just gonna launch Genshin because why not? Because like then I can actually look at some numbers here and I can actually say some things. Because like Genshin is worse about its scaling. I'm not gonna actually like show Genshin and whatnot. Um, but that's just because I'm going to be closing out of it pretty shortly afterwards. Uh, Also, okay, good. I am still logged in, but it's gonna verify files for a while. Um, but yeah, like the scaling in Star Rail is actually pretty decent. Like, I think you can get up to 140% attack scaling on your auto attack. Like, that's pretty decent. Your auto attack isn't hitting for an insane amount because you're only hitting once versus in Genshin when you're hitting like a bunch of times and everything else like that. Um, but like you're also guaranteed to hit. Like that's the other thing. Like in Genshin you can always whiff. You can just like you can lay something down and then the enemies just walk out of it. You know, unless you have something specifically pulling them in. Yeah. I don't know anything on that. I don't even know if I've ever hit 2000 attack in Genshin. I mean, like I'll find out when I get in and I look at certain characters. Um, but yeah, like I think honestly, some of my strongest people are people who scale off of HP in Genshin. And it's just because like you can build so much HP and then they're also just like incredibly tanky. So it's just like they don't give a fuck. You know, like it's so hard to kill them. Granted, Beidou was one of my strongest characters for the longest time because their barrier, like I mean, they still are to be honest. Their barrier, even if it doesn't survive, as long as it gets a full charge, I think that's how I got the achievement for deal 20,000 damage to a single enemy or in a single attack. Um, which like I did to a single enemy. I did it to a boss. I just got full charge on that, unleashed it, and I managed to score the crit and everything. Um, so yeah, like actually, I guess my Ganyu does have 2,140 attack. And their scaling on their normal attack, which is crowned by the way, it's at 10, is only 62.7%, 70.4, 89.9, 89.9, 95.4. Then the sixth hit is the 113.9. Cool, that sounds not good. Aimed shot, when you're just like spam clicking, is 86.7. Aim shot charge level 1 is 223%. Then you have the frost flake arrow damage and the bloom damage being 230 and then 392% respectively. Those are the only reasons that she does do an insane amount of damage, is because as long as you get to aim shot charge level 2, aka you get the frost flake flower, like she does an insane amount of damage. Um, the flower thing that she leaves does 238%. If that didn't taunt, that flower would be horrible. It like, because it just sits there and does nothing, and even with it sitting there and doing nothing, I've had it honestly, like I've placed it, enemies went up to it and then moved away from it because the enemy AI is designed to run away and then run back towards and attack something. So like by the time the second explosion happened, 6 seconds later, the enemy was not in range anymore. So, again, some of these numbers sound okay until you realize that, like, oh yeah, this stuff can miss. The Celestial Shower does 126%, and this is at 10. Like this is with everything at max level on Ganyu. Um, triple crowned for Ganyu. 126% attack as damage per one that falls. And those can miss as well. The enemies can just walk out of this. Like unless you specifically freeze them inside of it, they could just walk right on out of the Celestial Shower and just like completely avoid it. Or if you do placement wrong and the enemy's just like, you got one of the archers that's just standing on the outside of it the entire time, doesn't even bother walking towards you or anything, then yeah, like what you gonna do? Oh well, you better do something else. Like I feel like even though Star Rail has lower um has lower amount of attacks because it's a turn-based thing, it still has like better numbers. But yeah, also looking at my Ganyu, so I only have C2 on Ganyu. So that is the one where I reduce their cryo resist, and then also I gain an extra charge for the flower thing. The next one that I can get is the increases the level of Celestial Shower by 3 to a maximum level of 15. So like when I say I'm triple crowned, that is only level 10. So when I get the constellation, that's when I'll be able to actually get her ultimate to 15. I need to get the constellation 3 on Ganyu before I can do that. So I like that is something to keep in mind even with the stuff with um Star Rail. It was probably going to be similar. Like you will probably cap at uh at 10 for things unless specified or unless you have the constellation. Um we'll see though. The way that they actually do it, but yeah. Yeah, like as you're saying with the numbers, like the numbers are a lot bigger. Probably not, just because I don't I would need a lot of financial support from people in streaming in order to be able to do that. Like I have a throne, I have a donation link on my Twitch page, and like I don't advertise those because I'm not somebody who likes shilling. I don't like doing it. I should. I don't like to, but yeah, like I've never had people interact with them because I don't shill them. Um, but I would need a lot of support from viewers, especially right now. I was doing some talks with my mom about the car situation and everything else like that, and it's looking like she wants me to try to aim for full time streaming, because she wants to sell the car, so like I won't be doing Uber anymore. Which will mean that like essentially I am going to need like I'm gonna need to stream every day, like no matter what. I'm gonna actually get my sleep schedule on track for streaming. I'm gonna set up an actual schedule and so on. It's gonna be posted, like I'm going to have a posted schedule and everything. But I just need to get like that kind of stuff done and set up, and then I'm gonna need to make the decision of if I want to swap to YouTube, because at this point, like I don't know what's going on with Twitch, and I don't know if I can trust Twitch to actually give me my money, you know? Like as much as like I know I'm making no money on YouTube for a while, at the very least I know eventually I can, and it seems like YouTube is still actually supporting their content creators a lot more than Twitch is. So that's essentially like my thing with that. Like I want to be able to have income versus not, you know. Um Definitely like the throne and the donation link are still going to be around and everything else like that. I definitely like if I do stick with Twitch, I mean like hopefully I can start getting more people coming in and everything, but yeah. Hello Drac, welcome in. And yeah, Twitch is trying to burn itself to the ground, so Um, I am potentially swapping to YouTube, but I don't know 100%. Because, like, I do have a lot of followers on Twitch who technically don't even come into my streams anymore, but, you know, like, they are there. And like I plan on leaving all of my stream VODs online when it comes to on YouTube. Like for sure I plan on when I'm done with this stream, even though this is a purely supposed to be like a test stream and whatnot. Like when I'm done with this, I'm not deleting the VOD. Like I'm not privatizing it or whatever. Like I'm leaving it up. It's gonna be there for everyone to be able to see, for everyone to be able to interact with and whatnot. People will be able to watch it and everything, you know, even years down the line or whatever. I do not care at this point, like about privatizing certain VODs. Because I am also marking them as, you know, 18 plus because I do cuss. Like I mark it as it's not for kids and it's 18 plus. You know, do not sit there and be like, oh yes, this is kids programming. No, because we gonna fuck some shit up every once in a while. Um, does remind me of oh god, what was it? It was a loading ready run, I think crap shot where they're making fun of the like you know, you're streaming for kids or whatever. So it's like this person is running a channel called The Littlest Stream House. And it's supposed to be, you know, like essentially they're streaming for kids and they're going through all of their introductions and a kid or somebody doesn't even need to be a kid subscribes and everything else and they said hopefully you asked your parents for permission, but if you didn't, don't worry, I won't tell anyone. um but then he's like, all right, we're gonna get back into the game, and then they're playing Dark Souls, and they say quite literally like, last time this and this boss was kicking our shit in, but I think today we got, and it's like, it's like just the you know, sort of polarity of that, and it's very much like, yeah, I don't know how you talk about streaming or, you know, doing stuff for kids, especially because like there's a lot of things that gets made for kids that very much shouldn't be out there for the kids. They should definitely be looking into that, but you know, here we are. um like they have people who like it is their job to go through and do that, but you also have to watch so much content that you miss stuff. um but yeah. I think like I think when it comes down to it, if I end up swapping to YouTube, um it's gonna be like I'm just gonna have to ask a lot of my friends for like, hey, would you be willing to subscribe to my YouTube channel? You don't have to watch anything or whatever if you don't really want to. But just can you please sub so that way I can hopefully work towards getting the 1,000 that I need for monetization. And then like after that, just stream every day so that way I have a constant upload. I'll have to figure out like what games I want to stream because like even right now I do not want to stream Star Rail today. Like if it came right down to it, like I am getting very dangerously close to being burnt out on Star Rail. Like I started feeling it and whatnot while doing the simulated universe. I was like, I'm actually starting to want to do other things. That's why I was so glad for the events, because like I enjoyed doing the events more than I was enjoying just playing the game in general. So like I need to, as I am a variety streamer, like I do not stream a single game as my only game. I stream a lot of games technically. Like I might go back and play some more Altair Ryza 3. I might try and actually play more Disgaea 4 because I just need to actually do that. But also in October, Disgaea 7's coming out, and I'm like, yay! Because my Disgaea nerd is wanting the new one already. Um, yeah, it's still a long ways away, but you know, here we are. I think 4 months away still. I don't actually know when the next event is supposed to happen. I don't look into that. I don't watch their announcements or anything else like that. I literally just skate on by and you know, like right now, because I'm trying to get to the maximum equilibrium level. I am trying to make sure essentially that I actually get the dailies done at the least, because they give us so much like Trailblaze experience. And I'm trying to burn my Trailblaze power to make sure it doesn't cap, especially because the auto battler. So it's like it's a lot easier to log in, spend my Trailblaze power, do the daily stuff if I haven't done it yet, go to or go back to the place where I'm spending my Trailblaze power, log out, later on in the day, log in again, spend my Trailblaze power that I've accumulated, log out. You know, like that it is incredibly easy to be able to do that right now, which is great because to be honest, like Genshin, the reason why I think I burnt out on it so much more is because there you have to be so much more active with what you're doing. Now, granted, I've also played Genshin for years. Um, like I've played Genshin since damn near release. I didn't play on release because I generally, when I'm looking at games like that, the first thing I do is I watch other people play it and I decide whether or not I want to try and get into it. I did the same thing with Star Rail. Quite literally with Star Rail, I think I signed up for the pre-release, but then I didn't start playing it myself until I watched, I think it was like Silver Veil stream it when they were doing a sponsored stream. Uh, so yeah, like it's definitely something where it matters, I suppose. Um, like it matters, I suppose, in like how long I've been doing it versus not. But I have been being consistent with my Star Rail daily grind and whatnot. Um, I think I've capped on Trailblaze power twice, and that's it, which is saying something. But I also like I don't know what else to stream right now. Um, I'm tempted for streaming some more Elite Dangerous again. If you don't know what game that is, it is a spaceflight simulator. Um, at least like that's the way that you can describe it. It is honestly like my favorite game, but I also got kind of burnt out on it because I had no one else to play with. And yeah, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I do not want to hear what it is. I would rather find out when the new story comes out. That I think that's more important to me. Is just I'll find out later. You know, I don't need to find out now. I can find out at another time. Because like I do genuinely like the surprise and whatnot when it comes to that kind of stuff. There's a reason why, even though like apparently all of the characters have been spoiled for potentially the next 2 years. And I was in a server where some people were talking about that. I was just like, no, I'm good. I don't need to find out. Yeah, Space Trucker Simulator is actually like pretty close to the best way to describe Elite Dangerous. Like that is one of the play styles that you can do. If I stream it again, I'll probably be doing some deep space stuff. Um, just try and like go and do some exploration and whatnot again. But we'll see. I don't know. That is if I stream Elite Dangerous, because like, again, I still have to try and beat, or I still want to try to beat Disgaea 4. Um, like I kind of want to experience the story a little bit. I want to at least make it to meeting Desco, um, because they were kind of cute in what was it 6, which I thankfully did beat 6. I didn't beat 5. I've never beaten. I actually no. I've technically beaten 1, but I think that was all the way back on the PlayStation, like 2, when the game originally came out. I don't think I ever beat the PC version, like which is mostly because the second one came out and I started playing it instead. Because the second one has a few quality of life improvements that the first one did not have. That when they remade the first one for PC, they didn't implement those changes, and it would have been great if they did. Would have been awesome. Um, yeah. What did you crash, or did the game crash, or was your piloting what made you crash? Like, did you crash your ship? That's a very good question for you there, Drac. Uh, yeah, I actually have a HOTAS, by the way, for playing spaceflight games. I'm that much of a space nerd. Um, but essentially, like the second one, I never beat it because I I'm trying to remember why I stopped playing it. I think it was around the time when some other games came out that like I really got focused on and everything else like that. And then I just like I didn't feel like going back to it, and 5 was already coming out, so I ended up getting 5 and playing 5. Um that I have no idea on Mr. Man. Like I don't know. Hmm. Yeah, landing is not the easiest thing, but auto dockers exist in Elite Dangerous. Like you have to choose to actually install one, but you can do that. Um, I fly manually, and yeah, every once in a while you have some problems, but most of the time I'm okay. I've been flying long enough in Elite Dangerous to know what I'm doing. Uh, Granted, I also do fly literally the largest player vehicle in Elite Dangerous. So I have to know what I'm doing. Uh, cause yeah, that is a thing. It is literally a space whale of a ship. It's called the Beluga liner. Uh, like it's literally space whale. Uh, you got the dolphin, the orca, and the beluga liner, and an Amber Alert. Yeah, hopefully I can find that later and read it, but it's like I don't really want to move my setup to be able to read that. But yeah, like I I love flying that ship, especially when I'm going into like deep space and whatnot, essentially uninhabited space and doing exploration. Kind of, yeah. I guess it is somewhat blimp shaped. Um, I wouldn't necessarily call it a blimp normally, though. But it is a massive ship. Like, it is bonkers huge. Um, it barely fits out the mail slot. It's also incredibly expensive. I saved up a lot for that sucker, and I had to outfit it too, which was a lot more. But it's definitely one of my favorite ships. Um, I'm I'm supposed to be working up towards the Imperial Cutter for cargo stuff because that's the ship that I would like to use for that. I think I did buy a Type 9 for cargo, but I honestly I didn't feel like trying to finish outfitting it, to be honest. Like I might actually end up selling the ship because I just don't give a shit on the ship anymore. Like I would rather try and like work up towards the cutter instead of trying to do that ship. But yeah, that's just me. Um, but yeah, so that is definitely a game option. Then of course Disgaea. We'll at least do two, or not two, four. Try and actually play more of that. Then when seven comes out, hopefully I'll be able to get that. And yeah, that'll essentially be like I guess the planned games for now. Altair Ryza, of course, the third one. Eventually, I'll do more with that. Like I need to like off stream go around and gather up all the materials that I can. Um, because like the material hunting is the only reason that like I'm basically held back. Uh, but yeah, I think like I think I got some. I think I got some decent things that I can potentially do if I do start streaming, essentially 7 days a week. Um, I'll have to see. It'll definitely be one of those things where it's gonna take some time. It's gonna like there's gonna be days where I won't stream because I just won't be feeling well or other stuff like that. Um, or like I'm just gonna not be in the mood for the games that I have available to myself. But it'll really like it'll be something that like I'm gonna push for it no matter what if I can. You know, I'm gonna make it work if I can, because it does sound like my mom wants to sell the car as soon as possible, which will mean that I will technically be out of a job. So I'm gonna have to really really push for this kind of stuff. Otherwise, I have to try and find a work from home job because I'm not gonna have a car. So yeah. But yeah, that all said, I think the test stream has kind of like shown me what it's gonna do and everything, and to be honest, it ain't great. Um like there is some interesting little things with YouTube for sure. Um like they apparently do have like a bunch of emoji things, but I'm just like looking at this and I'm like, can I even like upload my own emoji or anything? Probably not. So you know that's a thing. Oh, you can do it. You can do a Q&A, and there's also starting a poll. So that's a thing. At least they have polls. You know, not that I use them very often. um, but yeah. For now, though, I think like I said, that is gonna be it. Um, Test was definitely successful. I learned what I kind of needed to for now. I'm gonna have to check out some other stuff. But I think like for now, I kind of know more of what I'm doing with all of this. So I just have to figure out a few other things, and try and make that work. Otherwise, otherwise like at this point, so this will probably be the only stream I do on YouTube for a bit. If I do another one, it will be like um, probably like a 1 hour gaming stream of something. Just to like start getting some videos uploaded to YouTube in general. But it won't be like a dedicated streaming every day on YouTube kind of thing. Um, but otherwise, like I guess look forward to seeing me again on Twitch for the current foreseeable future. Just because again, that's where I do currently have support and everything. So, um, yeah. No matter what, though, I will see you all later on. As always, good luck. Have fun